Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm 𝙎𝙐𝘽𝙎𝘾. Only twice in the history of our country has a son followed his father to the Oval Office. Now, the first father-son duo to do this was John Adams, the second commander-in-chief, and then his son John Quincy, who would become the sixth commander-in-chief at the turn of the 19th century. Now, the second would come in 2000, when an easygoing Texan would follow in his father's footsteps to bring a conservative balance to the White House after the Clinton administration. He was the 43rd president of the United States, George W. Bush. Now, the younger Bush was born in the Northeast but spent his formative years in Texas. He began his life trajectory as a successful businessman and would eventually go on to be a successful owner of the Texas Rangers, following a passion of baseball that he had had since he was a little boy. Now, Bush would enter politics like his father and become the governor of Texas. Now, in the Y2K election year, Bush became the leading Republican candidate. He battled against incumbent Vice President Al Gore in a narrow election that actually made it all the way to the highest court in the land and is still disputed to this day. But in the end, Bush edged out Gore by an electoral vote of 271 to 266. Now, Bush's presidency was defined in many ways by the crises he faced, and there was no greater crisis than what transpired less than 9 months into his first year, when the United States was openly attacked by Islamic terrorists on September 11, 2001. And in fact, the rest of the Bush administration would really be defined by this horrendous tragedy. Now, Bush's response was rapid and swift. He invaded Afghanistan and set up the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to protect American citizens. Now, he was willing to engage in conflict where some may have decided to pull out, which made him beloved by many, but also heavily scrutinized by others. Now, as such, Bush is praised for his response to 9/11. He's characterized as somewhat of a baffling character also, though, especially in his later years as the nation descended into financial chaos that actually culminated in the Great Recession of 2008. It's hard really to quantify whether Bush was a hero or not. He did some incredibly heroic things, especially in his early years, and he would be a defender of conservative values during his time in office. Yet his mishandling of the economy in his later years, and this coupled also with the steps that he's taken leftward since he left the office in 2009, make him somewhat of a controversial figure, especially for conservatives who praised him while he was in office, but might not be so quick to do so now. Now, Bush married his wife Laura in 1977, and they have 2 adult daughters. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. And if you want us to cover one of your favorite moments in history, you can tell us in the comments. Now stay tuned for some new content.